the southern tip of the world, where the Andes Mountains plunge toward Antarctica, there exists a landscape so otherworldly, so impossibly dramatic, that early European explorers struggled to find words adequate to describe it. This is Torres del Paine, the Blue Towers, and its story is written not in years or centuries, but in the deep time of geological epochs, carved by fire from below and ice from above. But Torres del Paine is more than spectacular scenery. It's a living textbook of Earth's violent past, a refuge for some of the planet's most remarkable wildlife, and a cautionary tale about humanity's relationship with pristine wilderness. This is the complete story, from the seafloor to the summit, from ancient peoples to modern conservation battles, from volcanic intrusions to forest fires. Welcome to one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. But before we go deep into the topic, we want to appreciate you for your incredible support. Please do well to follow Planet's View today, because this is the only place you can learn about everything around you without having to leave your bedroom. Now, our story begins not with mountains, but with an ocean. 90 million years ago, when Tyrannosaurus rex stalked distant continents, southern Patagonia existed as a deep marine basin at the bottom of an ancient sea. Here, in the oxygen-starved depths of the abyssal seafloor, fine particles of sediment drifted down through thousands of feet of water, accumulating grain by grain, layer by layer. These sediments would eventually become the Cerro Toro Formation, vast beds of black shale and sandstone that recorded millions of years of quiet deposition. The black color? That's the signature of an anoxic environment where no oxygen could penetrate the deep waters, preserving organic matter in darkness. For tens of millions of years, this continued. The sediments compressed under their own weight, transforming into rock. Mountains rose elsewhere, dinosaurs vanished, the world changed. But the real drama was yet to come. This is where it gets interesting. There was an underground explosion about 12.5 million years ago. Deep beneath the Patagonian landscape, something extraordinary happened. A massive chamber of molten granite, superheated rock under immense pressure, found a weakness in the Earth's crust, the Rio Nutria Fault. What happened next was geological violence on an almost unimaginable scale. But here's what makes Torres del Paine unique. The magma didn't erupt explosively to the surface like a traditional volcano. Instead, it squeezed between layers of the ancient sedimentary rocks, like toothpaste spreading between sheets of paper, creating what geologists call a laccolith, a mushroom-shaped intrusion of granite. This wasn't a single event. Using high-precision uranium-lead dating on individual zircon crystals, scientists discovered that the Torres del Paine laccolith formed in 3 distinct pulses over just 90,000 years, a geological eye blink. First, an 18 cubic kilometer pod of granite injected parallel to the sedimentary layers. Then, a second, smaller pod of 8 cubic kilometers pushed in below. Finally, a massive 54 cubic kilometer injection completed the mushroom shape. The numbers are staggering. The laccolith extends for more than 12 kilometers, reaching a maximum thickness of 2.5 kilometers. The heat from this molten rock literally cooked the surrounding sedimentary formations, transforming mudstone and sandstone into dark brown metamorphic rock, creating what geologists call a contact aureole. This 3-pulse intrusion makes Torres del Paine a world-class site for studying how granite bodies form and grow. In 2022, the International Union of Geological Sciences recognized it as one of just 100 geological heritage sites worldwide, places of such scientific importance that they help us understand fundamental processes that shaped our planet. But the laccolith remained hidden beneath the surface, waiting. The mountains you see today didn't exist yet. That would require sculptors, and they arrived in the form of ice. About 18,000 years ago, the last great ice age reached its peak. Massive glaciers, some over 1,000 meters thick, spread across Patagonia, part of a vast ice sheet that covered much of southern Chile. These rivers of ice were Earth's most powerful erosive force, grinding away at the landscape with relentless pressure. The glaciers exploited weaknesses in the rock, carving deep U-shaped valleys. They polished and striated the granite, leaving scratches that you can still see today on rock surfaces near Gray Lake. Most importantly, they stripped away the softer sedimentary cover rock, gradually revealing the hard granite laccolith beneath. This is why the Torres del Paine Massif looks the way it does today. From the famous cuernos, the horns, you can see the story written in stone. The lower portions are walls of light gray granite, hard and persistent, but crowning each horn is a cap of dark brown metamorphic rock, the cooked sedimentary formations that arch over the top of the mushroom-shaped granite body. The contact between these rock types angles upward from right to left, perfectly illustrating the laccolith's domed structure. The heat, pressure, and subsequent erosion created one of the most photographed mountain formations on Earth. The three towers emerge. The towers themselves, those jagged spires that give the park their name, represent the purest expression of this geological process. These are the tops of the granite intrusion, completely stripped of their sedimentary cover by glacial erosion. From left to right, they're known as Torre di Agostini, Torre Central, and Torre Monzino, reaching heights of 2,260 to 2,500 meters above sea level. The angular, jagged shape of the Torres isn't random. It's the result of ice literally tearing the rock apart. Glacial ice exploited joints and fractures in the granite, plucking away blocks and creating those dramatic vertical faces. This process continued through multiple glaciations, each ice advance sculpting the peaks into ever more dramatic forms. Even today, the landscape continues to evolve. The southern Patagonian ice field still mantles much of the region, feeding glaciers like Gray, Dixon, and Tyndall. These are remnants of that vast ice sheet, and they're still carving the landscape, though now they're retreating rapidly due to climate change, a story we'll return to later. Act 2. The First Witnesses, Indigenous Patagonia. Long before any Europeans set eyes on these towers, they were already known. They already had a name. Around 7,000 years ago, perhaps even earlier, the first humans arrived in this harsh landscape. The Aunekenk people, also called the Tehuelche, meaning brave people or people of barren land in the Mapuche language, were nomadic hunter-gatherers who understood this environment intimately. They moved seasonally across the Patagonian steppes and mountains, following the guanaco herds that were their primary source of food, clothing, and shelter. Their name for themselves, Aunekenk, meant simply people of the South, and South they were, living at one of the most extreme inhabited regions on Earth. A life of adaptation. Imagine their existence. Patagonia offered no mercy. Winds that could knock a person down, winters of brutal cold, summers of brief warmth. Water was scarce in the steppes. Agriculture was impossible. Yet the Aunekenk thrived here for millennia. They wore capes made from guanaco hide, called kais or quillangos, with the insides decorated with bright geometric patterns. These weren't just clothing, they were art, identity, protection. They painted their bodies for rituals and to protect their skin from the relentless sun and wind. Their supreme spiritual being was Kuch, ruler of the cosmos. Elal was the creator of mankind, and prowling in the shadows were the Gualichu, evil spirits of the underworld, always looking to cause trouble. The Aunekenk established their camps, called Ike, at the best hunting sites, places they knew by heart. They had walked every valley, crossed every river, tracked animals across every ridge. This knowledge was passed down through generations, an oral library of survival. At some point in their northern journeys, Aunekenk hunters looked up and saw a distant silhouette, 3 jagged peaks that appeared bluish-gray in the distance, catching the light of the Patagonian sky. In their language, they called this phenomenon Paine, meaning blue. The name stuck, Torres del Paine, the Blue Towers, a blend of Spanish and indigenous languages that captures something essential about this place, how the granite takes on that ethereal blue-gray color when viewed from afar, especially in certain light conditions. Cave paintings found in the region testify to the Aunekenk presence. These ancient artworks, created with natural pigments on rock walls, depicted guanacos, hunting scenes, and geometric patterns, windows into a world that would soon be shattered. In 1520, Ferdinand Magellan's expedition discovered the strait that now bears his name. The chronicler Antonio Pigafetta described encountering indigenous people at San Julian Bay, whom the Spanish called Patagones, supposedly because of their large feet, though some historians speculate the name came from a dog-headed monster in a popular novel of the time. The Aunekenk began trading with Spanish sailors, but their population remained relatively stable for another 3 centuries. The real catastrophe came in the mid-1800s with massive sheep ranches, estancias, that colonized Patagonia. European diseases decimated indigenous populations who had no immunity. The introduction of horses from Europeans earlier transformed Tehuelche society, creating a dependence on these animals for daily life. But now, as estancias claimed the land, the guanaco populations plummeted, and with them went the foundation of Aunekenk existence. The last speaker of the northern Tehuelche language died in 1960. Today, only a handful of speakers of the southern dialect remain. An entire world, thousands of years of accumulated knowledge, stories, understanding of this landscape nearly vanished in just a few generations. But the name they gave these mountains endures: Paine, the blue